Digital Natives by Adam Preston. Interior, bedroom, house, somewhere in the north of England. Morning. A bare double bed and a chest of drawers. Phil Burrows, late 30s, a determined cynic tormented by his own optimism, wearing a banana yellow tracksuit, electric blue brothel, creepers, and a neatly trimmed Victorian-style beard, struggles to close a huge black suitcase. Phil has a last look around in a reflective mood. He presses down on the mattress, then makes the bed squeak as though a couple were having sex.
Oh, Phil. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, God. And by the way, I'm going to live with an app designer in Australia.
He stops abruptly.
Bit of a passion killer, that one.
He stands and opens the bottom drawer of the chest. He sees a pair of brown, jockey Y-front underpants. He takes them out and examines them.
I should just leave them, just walk away.
He cannot bring himself to do it. He unzips his bag and struggles to stuff them in. He stands and gets ready to leave, but something he sees out the window distracts him. Interior, exterior, Phil's POV, street, somewhere in the north of England, morning. A woman is walking along the pavement, looking at her smartphone screen, oblivious to the fact that she is approaching some roadworks. She is heading straight for a gaping hole. Phil starts tapping on the window to warn her. She doesn't hear and keeps going. Phil starts opening the window. He sees a teenage boy at street level filming her with his smartphone. Phil bangs more violently on the window. Just in time, the woman looks up and sees the hole. She swerves around it. The teenager gives Phil the finger and walks away. Infuriated, Phil finally wrenches open the window.
You're sick!
The woman turns and frowns at him.
Not you, him!
He points at where the teenager was, but he's scarpered. The woman walks away, shaking her head. Exterior, house, somewhere in the north of England, morning. Phil drags his heavy bag out the front door. He takes out a set of keys and posts them through the letterbox. He turns and sees John, a sensible northerner in his 30s, with the IQ and life force of an old Labrador. John is looking at a train timetable app on his smartphone.
All right, Phil, just checking your train on this app. Oh, sorry, mate.
It's alright, you can mention apps.
Mate, you want to get one of them bags with wheels?
She took them all, didn't she?
Sorry, didn't mean to bring her up.
You didn't.
It's brilliant. This app tells you...
Look, actually, let's not talk about apps after all. Give us a hand, would you?
They start to lift the heavy bag together. Interior, car, day. Phil is driving, John in the passenger seat.
If it all comes to nothing down south, there'll always be a warm northern welcome back with me. I'll not charge a penny above market rent.
John turns and looks at the big suitcase on the back seat. He pulls the brown jockey Y-fronts and they come out. He examines them with a look of distaste.
Therefore, when the others are in the wash, my pants have last resort.
John works the zip and starts stuffing them back in. Interior, exterior, car, railway station, north of England, morning. The car pulls up. Phil takes out the key and hands it to John. They get out. Together, they heave the huge suitcase out of the boot and carry it towards the station.
I've had a think. What you should have been doing is reinventing yourself.
What do you think I'm doing? I've grown a beard that practically extends down to my ballsack.
But there's no need to go down London. They'll eat you alive, especially looking like a Poundland bald brush. All right, Vera.
You want a hand with that?
She joins them in carrying the bag.
I'll tell you what I love. Samsonite do a terrific line in bags with wheels.
He had some like that, but his missus took them all.
She looks across at a railway employee, Eric, who is passing.
Hear that, Eric? Mrs. took him to the cleaner's poor lamb.
Eric joins them and helps lug the bag as they enter the little station ticket office. Exterior, railway platform, day. The four of them lug the bag out to the platform.
What you want to do, son, is get on this website, bags, etc. You do a tasty deal on a wheeled hold-all.
Yeah, I'll look into that right away.
His wife snatched all the best bags, then gallivants off to Australia.
Does he need to hear all the details?
Now he's off to live with his gran.
What? Looking like a stick of rock that's been dropped in a dog basket?
I'm moving to Shoreditch, okay? Full of hipsters in arresting outfits, making billions with new ideas and technology.
And apps.
I read about Shoreditch in the Post. Apparently, the latest thing there is vintage undercrackers.
Phil's got some old pants, he'll fit right in.
A train approaches. Phil sees a small group of people standing further down the platform. Assorted men and women in their 30s and a couple of children.
Oh, what the hell are all that lot doing here?
They turn and see the little group which approaches.
I told them all to come see you off. You nearly missed them!
The little group approaches. Some are carrying placards. Good luck, Phil. Come back soon. Phil drags his bag onto the train.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
He stands at the open door of the train. There's an awkward moment. Jeff, a man in his 50s, speaks up.
Quick tip for you there, mate. The bag.
This lot will explain about the bag and any personal details you need. I'm off now, bye.
The doors remain open. Bill, a large-boned, complacent type, speaks up to fill the void.
Where's he going again?
London to live with his granny.
His granny. Grown man like him. The wet blanket.
Laughter.
She recently widowed, okay? Writes poetry, so we're talking about a very vulnerable person. I'm just going to make sure she's alright, and then I'm getting my own place. Oh, these doors are taking ages.
Tell you what, you look like a streak of piss.
More laughter.
With a generous dollop of pubic hair.
Hearty laughter. The doors start to close.
Well, thanks everyone. It's been delightful.
The doors close, but they open again.
You sounded a bit sarcastic there, mate.
Oh, I meant it. It's been a delight. We're okay, maybe a bit of sarcasm in there, but that's mainly due to the betrayal and infidelity. Breakup, divorce, all that stuff. Otherwise, brilliant. Just, yes, delightful.
The doors finally close. Train starts to move.
What a lovely chap you were.
Hi.
There's an awkward moment, then everyone takes out their smartphones. They start to drift away, looking at their screens. One nearly walks off the edge of the platform, but John holds him back. Interior, black cab, Shoreditch, London, day. Phil is seated in the back of the cab, staring horrified at the meter, which reads £58.39 and rising fast. Through the windows, we see Shoreditch hipsters in weird outfits, tube carriage officers on roofs, a quick montage of Shoreditch craziness.
I'll just get up here.
Exterior, street, Shoreditch, day. Phil hands all his money to the driver, who counts it, then looks at him, waiting for a tip.
Need to watch the pennies, make a fresh start.
What? Looking like a banana what's been rammed up a gorilla's arse?
He drives off, leaving Phil with his heavy suitcase, which he starts to heave along the pavement. Nobody helps. Two men pass him, walking together and looking at their smartphones. One is walking towards an open beer cellar hatch. As he's about to step into it, his companion guides him around it, without once taking his eyes off the screen. Phil passes a pop-up shop advertising new vintage lingerie and underwear. In the window, mannequins wear old bras and knickers from the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s. Exterior, Alice House, Shoreditch, day. Phil drags his bag towards a modest house, which has a tiny paved front garden. He leaves the bag by the gate, approaches the door. As he does, a man also in a tracksuit, bright red, and also with full trimmed beard, falls into step beside him. This is Quillon, a hipster forever embracing the latest trend with arrogant assurance. Bemused by Quillon's sudden appearance, Phil knocks on the door. It is opened by Alice, an intense, eccentrically dressed woman in her 70s with the air of a yacht that has slipped its mooring. Quillon takes out a leaflet and holds it up for her to see. It has a picture of the pop-up vintage lingerie shop with the words, "We pay pounds for new vintage underwear."
Beards float on primary colours. Lost my flipping specs again.
I posted one of these through your door yesterday.
Hi, Granny.
I may not be 21, but there's no need for that.
I'm buying new vintage underwear. I'm currently interested in 70s crotchless panties.
Yeah, I bet you are. Granny, it's...
Oh, sad, corrupted sunflower, stop calling me Gran. It grates. I saw your leaflet. And if it helps, the groin is dissolved on half of these.
Oh, for God's sakes, Gran.
I'm not mad about your friend. Will you please stop calling me Gran?
Quillon picks up the bag and starts searching through the knickers.
But you are my Gran.
This man latched onto me as I approached your house.
I happen to be this woman's.
I'm going to have to recondition most of these. The rest I'll use for rags.
I bet you will. Any excuse to get your hands inside them, you filthy.
$5 for the lot.
Done.
Gran, it's me, Phil. I've grown a beard.
Philip, is that you crouching behind that ghastly beard? Ah, my darling, come to claw me back from the black hole of widowhood. My grandson down from the north, married to a bit of a bitch.
I'd love to hear all about it, but I have a medical condition called an extreme low boredom threshold.
He leaves. Phil turns to watch him go.
That's not a medical condition, that's just very rude. Are you sure he's not a registered pervert? Hold it. My sodden bank's gone. Help!
Interior, Alice's kitchen, Shoreditch, day. Alice has just finished making a phone call. Phil sits slumped in a chair, looking exhausted and defeated. The kitchen is in a state of chaos. Papers, notebooks, dirty plates, bottles, etc. cover every surface.
Well, it turns out there's been some stabbing in Dalston. Really an awful lot, according to the lady I spoke to. Blades flashing like sequins. The last scene of Hamlet played out in an urban garret.
Except we're talking about real people. Maybe I should have called the police myself.
No, it's all right. They can send a community liaison officer. Well, not this week, and probably not next week. But they will come as night follows day.
But nowhere near as quickly. It had everything in it. Do you mind if I go up and have a little lie down in my room? I'm completely shattered.
The new life commences with catastrophe, as in all the best fiction.
Yeah, but again, real people are involved. Me in this case. You've let things go a bit, Gran. I mean, I know Grandad was anally retentive, but I didn't realise you were, whatever the opposite is, a muck spreader.
Well, that's why I'm so glad you're here.
To tidy up.
He exits.
Oh, not the spare room, darling. Sam Fazackalee's performing his vlog thing in there.
Interior stairs, Alice's house day. Phil rubs his face with exhaustion as he mounts the stairs. He misses the red light outside the door at the top of the stairs. Underneath are the words, online.
It sounded like you said Sam Fazackalee is doing his vlog thing in there. Great. We'll have a proper catch-up later, okay?
Interior, Sam Fazackalee's bedroom/vlog studio day. Sam, 24, generous proportions, black, is seated in front of a laptop talking into its camera. Behind him is a backdrop, a blown-up image of a studio audience. To add 3 dimensions, there is a front row of soft toys, dolls, action men, all seated on little chairs. Think the cover of Sgt. Pepper's, but a 2015 version with a real person seated in the middle doing a vlog. Other props include a big pretend fish tank with a backdrop of undersea coral. Sam has an earpiece/microphone device, and as he speaks, he deftly adds laughter, applause, etc. to his monologue by tapping his keyboard.
We'll be playing out to the two-fish rumba in a microsec, but let me end on this.
He brings up an image of a Japanese man in his 20s.
This disturbing story of Seiko Yamamoto, who hanged himself live on this vlog last week. Condolences going out to his people in this form GemKiss9.
He brings up a Facebook chat window and reads it out.
Told me gran about the Japanese who's hung himself live on the internet. She goes, that's so clever I can't even log on.
Sam brings up rumba music. Phil enters and reacts on seeing Sam in his studio.
That's some seriously bad spelling grammar. Back to school, GemKiss9.
He clicks another key and the fake aquarium fills the screen. He grabs 2 colorful mismatched toy fish, pushing his hands through the holes in the coral reef backdrop. He makes the 2 fish dance in unison to the rumba music as the credits roll.
What's happening? What am I looking at?
The two-fish rumba.
Phil exits. Interior stairs/hallway, Alice's house day. Phil exits Sam's room and starts to descend the stairs.
Gran, there's someone in my room.
Alice enters the downstairs hallway.
Oh, you didn't get my letter.
She walks over to the hall table piled with old newspapers, keys, some half-rotten fruit, and a letter rack. She moves the letter rack and finds an envelope.
Ah, I didn't post it. The great ever-charging rhinoceros of distractions.
I always blame the rhinoceros. I know I do.
She hands him the letter and he opens it.
Dear Philip.
Exterior, Shoreditch Street, morning. Alice is walking along the street.
I thought I should explain how things are set up here before you come and start your new life.
Alice enters a trendy cafe. We see the words free Wi-Fi on a blackboard. Interior, trendy cafe, Shoreditch, morning. Alice sits at a table. Sam is seated opposite her. He is setting up a FaceTime call on his laptop.
My spirits have brightened as I've made a terrific new friend called Sam Fazackalee. I met him in a local cafe.
Sam sees that his FaceTime call has gone through. A young woman's face has appeared on his screen.
Hello, gorgeous. I'm having a fantastic day. How about you?
How about me? Well, thank you, young man, for asking. I'm a mountain, hazy in the distance across a great plain.
Sam reacts. He also has no idea what she's talking about.
My husband passed away recently. He was a dreadful old fusspot. Somewhere on the spectrum, I believe is the modern phrase. Tea at 4:30 sharp, everything spotless or suds till midnight. I loved him a teeny little bit. Well, you don't want to be bothered with all that.
Sam reacts. He likes her and he doesn't want to hurt her feelings.
I'll call you back. My name's Sam.
Alice holds out her hand and they shake warmly. They start to natter away.
When we got to talking in this cafe I go to, he was so alive, so beautiful, like a seal. He was sofa surfing, using the cafe as his bureau. So I saw him there every day. He's terribly, terribly nice, and he even helped install something called a modem in the house.
Interior, kitchen, Alice's house, day. We see Sam completing the setup of a modem on his side table. He checks the signal on his smartphone.
You're good to go, my lovely. Shall we check it works on your device?
Sorry, my what? My device?
Laptop, smartphone, whatever you use to log on?
Oh, well, I don't really do that.
She takes out a cheap pay-as-you-go granny phone. Sam looks at it and reacts.
When we realised I wasn't going to be using his modem very often, we had the idea of Sam having the spare room for his vlogging. Well, something which is a bit like being a radio disc jockey, except people can actually see you sitting in your chair.
Interior, Sam Fazackalee's bedroom/vlogging studio day. Before the room has been fully transformed to Sam's vlog studio. Sam is seated at his laptop finishing a vlog. Alice enters with tea and biscuits. They natter away.
Well, with the neighbourhood evolving beyond recognition, friends migrating to saner pastures, and now your granddad passed over to the other side, I find I really enjoy Sam's company. He's a prince, and I know you're going to adore him too.
Interior, hallway, Alice's house, day, present day. Phil stands reading the letter.
Adore? Well, that's a strong word. So I'm putting you in Granddad's box room study?
Alice opens the door and Phil looks inside. It is a tiny little room completely crammed with boxes and files. The chaos of a long-lived hoarder of train-related literature.
Well, what better job for a grandson than sorting out his train timetables? It might even be worth ready money.
Phil is speechless. Sam now appears at the top of the stairs. He smiles broadly.
This must be the lucky, lucky lad who can claim kin to this wonderful lady.
He descends the stairs and puts his arm around Alice. She lays her head on his shoulder. Phil watches in amazement. He realizes that Sam and Alice have a special relationship.
I tell you what, in the lottery of life, to have such a queen to rule your people, if only I could bottle her, I'd make a fortune. And what talent.
Alice playfully tweaks his nose. Phil lets out a slightly mad, nervous laugh as he observes their closeness.
Sam's going to publish my poems.
Oh, you mean he has access to a photocopier?
Alice, my love, I found your glasses in the bathroom and I've fitted them with a little tracking device.
Ah, genius.
We can't have our queen deprived of her senses, can we? Sam Fazackalee, bro.
Phil is dumbfounded, but he holds out his hand and shakes.
I totally forgive you for interrupting the vlog. We scraped in under the wire. The followers never knew what happened.
Sam's got followers. Isn't it marvellous?
Followers? Gosh, like in a religion. Sorry to bring it up, but have you sorted out a tenancy agreement with the chosen one?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Sam's a friend. He's upset because his bag was stolen.
Any vintage underwear in the bag?
What is this obsession with vintage underwear?
It started in amateur porn. Some serious green being made.
You should listen to Sam. He could be a great help to you. He understands what's happening at the bleeding edge of things.
But he's not going to get my bleeding bag back, is he?
I might actually.
Interior, Sam Fazackalee's bedroom/vlogging studio day. Sam is doing an online search. Alice and Phil watch. Phil is impressed as Sam effortlessly navigates the info superhighway.
But I always gave him nice pants for Christmas, didn't I, darling?
Brand?
Jockeys. I'm sorry, but I do not believe anybody would want to buy my pants.
Color?
Brown.
I was thinking practical. Hide any accidents.
I did have control of my bowels at 16.
Bingo!
They all look at a pair of brown 1990s new vintage jockey Y fronts, identical to Phil's, being offered for sale.
Oh, we must celebrate. Wine and flowers, laughter and reminiscence.
A bit premature there, Gran. And anyway, I'm looking for my whole bag.
But this would lead us to the thieves' den.
They were only stolen an hour ago. They can't already be online.
Any distinguishing marks?
Sam starts to use the magnifying glass feature to closely examine the photographs of the pants.
No.
No stain up the rear?
They all look, and sure enough, there is a stain on the back of the pants.
For God's sakes, these aren't my pants. They're in Cincinnati.
They've only reached $36. That's a bargain.
I don't want someone's stained Y-fronts, even if it is a vintage stain.
New vintage.
I think we should visit that shop that's popped up selling old underwear.
I'll keep bashing away here.
Alice gives Phil a look. He doesn't know what she means by it. Exterior, street near pop-up vintage lingerie shop, Shoreditch day. Alice and Phil are approaching the shop.
You've allowed an agoraphobic with delusions of being an internet star to move into your house.
He's not agoraphobic. He just likes to stay indoors.
Same thing.
He does go out. It's just, Well, when he does, it's rather magnificent.
Sounds like you should stay indoors.
They have arrived at the pop-up vintage underwear shop. They see the bearded man from earlier, Quillon, deftly slipping Phil's Y-fronts onto one of the male mannequins. Out on the street, a smartly dressed man in his 40s, George, is looking at the pants. He exudes barely suppressed kinkiness.
Those are my pants!
George hears this and enters the shop quickly. Phil and Alice follow him. Interior, vintage underwear shop, Shoreditch Day. George approaches the counter where Quillon now stands.
I am interested in the brown Y-front in the window.
Oh, hold it! Those pants are stolen property.
For goodness sakes, I know new vintage jockey is hot, but this is ridiculous.
Can you prove it?
My grandmother gave them to me in 1996, and I've got her with me.
But it's true. Christmas 96. A gift pack of 3 from Man at C&A. Autumn range.
The lengths people go to spice up a gay tube video.
I do not want them for a gay sex video. I'm trying to get them my bag back.
Is that what you call it? Listen to me, darling. I've been trying to get my bag back since '89, and I've never stooped to dragging old ladies around and cooking up ridiculous lies to get my hands on fetish underwear.
You're right. You've rumbled me. I've hired an old woman to pretend to be my grandmother so I can get a pair of old brown Y-fronts. I'm going to star in my own gay sex video called Why Oh Why, a sorry tale of how an acid house fan with an itch in his crotch is rogered senseless by a deranged ecstasy addict with a huge moustache.
How much are they?
£69.
How appropriate. I'll take them.
You will not be buying my grandson's pants. I shall buy them.
Gran, you don't have to do that.
Do you take American Express?
Quillon takes the card and starts to process it.
Look, I just want my bag back.
Look, I'm meaning nothing, okay? But some men came by, sold me the pants. I saw them heading off towards the canal. They were lugging a big black bag, and you may not believe this, but it had no wheels on it.
Right. So basically, you are admitting you bought stolen goods. Oh, sod it. Look, I'll see you back at the house, Gran.
He runs from the shop.
Are you going to hand over the pants or not?
Not. Can you enter your PIN, please, sir?
George enters 3 digits of his pin. Sam bursts through the door dressed as a Second World War Japanese infantry lieutenant in dark glasses. He's holding a print off from a computer screen.
You're rumbled, mate. The office opposite has a coffee can.
He slams the picture on the counter. It's a still print off from the video footage showing a coffee jug on a windowsill. In the background, 2 men are visible standing with Phil's bag outside the pop-up shop. Quillon is visible examining the brown Y-fronts.
There you are, my friend. Handling stolen man knickers.
What on earth is a coffee can?
Saves people from going to check the level. Bit of an ironic throwback to the earliest days of the web, actually, but it has its uses.
I'm buying these pants, and nobody's going to stop me.
There's a cheaper pair in Cincinnati.
George hesitates to enter the last digit.
It's true. $36 on eBay.
You should know that it has a small stain on the rear.
You didn't have to tell him that.
Will you people get out of my shop?
Exterior, canal side, day. Phil runs and stops by the canal. He goes over to the edge of the water and leans on a barge tether. He sees his bag in the water. He runs down a sloping access point and pulls the bag onto dry land. He drags it up on the slope, opens it up. Everything inside is covered in horrible slime and mud.
Oi!
Phil stops what he's doing and looks around. He finds the owner of the voice leaning out of a high window.
You want to get one of those bags with wheels?
Why don't you mind your own business?
You look like a milkshake with a turd in it.
Phil stops what he's doing. The man leans back inside and shuts the window. It's all been too much for Phil. He's had enough. He cracks. He kicks the bag repeatedly while yelling furiously, then drags it to the edge of the canal and pushes it in the water.
What are you doing?
Phil looks up and sees Alice and Sam approaching. Phil reacts to Sam's outfit.
Now I've really got nothing.
You still own these?
The 3 of them start to walk away.
I hope you didn't pay £69 for them.
Sam found evidence on the digital motorway. Didn't I say he was a master of the new dimension?
You didn't actually, but point taken. I bet that kinky sod was upset.
Alice told him about the pair in Cincinnati. He liked the stain.
I'll say one thing about your granddad. When we had intercourse, he was always clean as a whistle.
Behind them, a teenage boy walks along, oblivious to the canal, looking at his smartphone. He steps off the edge.
Good.
Splash. Ends.